Hey everybody, I'm John and this is Blind Whiskey Reviews. Hey everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today here on Blind Whiskey Reviews, the most honest reviews on YouTube. Today we're doing another No Time Like the Present segment where I crack open a bottle that you guys have asked to see. We give you our initial thoughts on the first taste out of this bottle, and then later down the line we can compare that to our blind review of this whiskey and kind of see how it compares to when we know what we're drinking to when we don't. So, obviously this is not a blind segment. Disclaimer, not a blind segment. I obviously know the whiskey I'm drinking because I'm going to crack it open right now with you. So today, this was the second place winner of the poll I put up last week asking you guys which bottle you would like to see me open next. The winner was the E.H. Taylor Single Barrel, which I reviewed last week. I'll put a link to that up here so you guys can check out that review if you'd like. Today we're doing the New Riff Single Barrel. So apparently single barrels are winning the day. This is New Riff Single Barrel. They barrel this, I believe, at barrel proof. This is 112.4 proof. It's still coming in at a 4-year age statement. It doesn't give you these specific dates, but it says distilled fall 2015 and bottled fall 2019. So aged at least 4 years, it says on the bottle. So let's crack this thing open. New Riff is still a very young distillery. I think they're probably coming up on having distilled whiskey for about 5 years. I don't know if they're putting out 5-year products, but I think they've been around for right about 5 because I believe their 4-year bottled and bond whiskey came out about a year ago or so. Interesting cork. It's all black, kind of some synthetic material. Pretty hard, actually. Let's get a pour. Now, I've done a sample review of New Riff. I'll link that up here as well. I reviewed a sample that I believe Kyle from Bourbon Blind sent me. I really enjoyed the bottled and bond product. It tasted great. I thought it was a fantastic whiskey, so I'm really excited to get into this. New Riff just made it into California. There's only one store in California that carries it, so I think they have like an exclusive deal with them, and they'll be the sole distributor in California. Well, not distributor, but sole retailer in California to provide New Riff to us. So hopefully there'll be a steady supply. Like I said, I really enjoyed the first pour of this whiskey that I had in the bottled and bond product. So the single barrel is slightly higher proof, and I'm really excited to try it. I love their packaging. I mean, the bottle's cool. You've kind of got this black top and it slowly fades into a clear, it goes opaque and then clear, so you can kind of see the whiskey through the bottle at the bottom, but not at the top, which is pretty cool and unique. But enough talking about bottles and distilleries. Let's get into the whiskey. At first nosing, we got a ton of fruit. Lots of light fruit notes. And one thing I can definitely tell you is that for a 4-year-old product, when I tried the bottled and bond whiskey, there was really no sign of it being a young whiskey. It really had some complex, robust flavor. I wouldn't say the flavors were deep and dark like you'd get out of an older whiskey, but it didn't taste like a 4-year-old whiskey. They definitely are doing things right over at New Riff. So right now on the nose, I'm just getting a ton of light fruit, a ton of apple, pear, maybe even something close to like peach. There's a little bit of oakiness towards the back end. Maybe it kind of goes into some vanilla and oak, but that's very faint in the back. Let's get into the palate. Cheers. So the palate right now at first taste is tasting a little bit different than the nose. You definitely get those light fruits up front. It's almost got, I need to take another taste, but it's almost went like a bitter nutty character kind of mid-palate, which I don't remember tasting the last time. Obviously this is a single barrel product, so that means that you can get a lot of variance between barrels. Let's get another taste though. Yeah, mid-palate, there's a little bit of like red fruit, a little bit of bitterness, definitely some of that vanilla. I'm liking what I'm tasting, but I feel like there's more potential here than what I'm tasting. I feel like this whiskey really needs to open up some, have some airtime. And I don't know if sitting in this glass today is going to do that, but there's a lot of good flavor here, but I really think this is going to open up well. So as I do in all these No Time Like the Present reviews, we're going to let this whiskey sit in the glass for like 20, 30 minutes, give it an opportunity to get a little air, little oxidation, a little air interaction, let it open up just a touch, and we're going to come back and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it after it's been open for a little bit. So let's take a little break and we'll be right back. All right, everybody, it's been about 25 minutes since we left. This whiskey's been sitting here. I've been giving it a couple of swirls, see if we can't get it to open up just a touch. So let's get back into it. Nose is smelling pretty similar, hasn't changed much. There's definitely a very prevalent like corn sweetness on the nose. It's almost like you can smell like a hint of popcorn. It's kind of funny. Anyways, let's get into the taste. I would say that it's changed slightly. Kind of the little bit of that bitterness is backed off. You can definitely taste like the corn in the whiskey now a little bit more. There's almost like a minty menthol-like quality at the back of the palate where it's like this kind of effervescence on the back. Yeah, the whiskey is good. It is not tasting like I want it to taste though. So when I had the bottled and bond product, the fruit was much more forward and much more dominant than it is in this whiskey. In this whiskey, I'm getting a bit more bitterness, a bit more of that corn sweetness, maybe a little bit more like vanilla and those type of characters. And not that that's a bad thing, but I don't think the balance is quite right. And perhaps some more airtime once I get a couple of pours out of this bottle and we do a speedy sample review of it after it's been open for a few months. I think this whiskey might open up and taste a little bit better. Right now, don't get me wrong, it's good, but it's not knocking my socks off, and it's definitely not living up to what that bottled and bond sample gave me. So, as I mentioned in the last No Time Like the Present review I did of the E.H. Taylor single barrel, you guys asked me to give you a score, not blind, of this whiskey when I do these things. So we can kind of compare that to my blind review I do this whiskey. So I'm going to give you a score. I'm also, as soon as I'm done shooting this video, going to pour a sample of this so I can save that to do the initial blind review of. That way we're tasting the same whiskey in the No Time Like the Present review and in the blind review. So we get a pretty even comparison. You guys can kind of see how my, review of it blind and my review of knowing what it is compares. Yeah, right now it's decent, it's good, it's just not knocking my socks off. We're going, the score right now I'm feeling is like low 80s, like maybe like an 81. It's good. I just think it could be so much more, and especially having tasted it, another version of this whiskey in the bottled and bond, I think this whiskey can definitely be better. And perhaps my barrel is just a little bit off profile or off what their whiskeys would normally taste like, or what they would, how they blend their their like small batch bottled and bond products. But I think a little bit of airtime is going to do this some good. So can't wait to get into this whiskey again blind and see how it tastes. But like I said, I'm going to give this an 81 today. I think it's good. I think it will be better. So if you guys have had the opportunity, which a lot of you probably haven't, because the distribution on New Riff is not very wide. It's just barely kind of getting outside of like that Kentucky area. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have you tried the bottled and bond bourbon or rye, or the single barrel proof product? Let me know which one you guys tasted and which one you've liked the best if you've tried multiple. down in the comments below. As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at blind_reviews. You can also catch me on Instagram at Mission Bottle Kill, where I'm posting all kinds of pictures of people emptying great bottles of whiskey. If you would like me to show your whiskey on my page, just tag at Mission Bottle Kill when you make the post. And as always, also, you can send me an email at blindwhiskeyreviews@gmail.com. That's whiskey with an E. And thank you so much, guys, for joining me. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.